he has to come back and rescue it, and so it doesn't make sense for them that it would be Christ. Let's see here. And when he, verse 3 in Revelation 6, and when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth, that they should kill one another, and there was given unto him a great sword. Alright, well, what's this horse? If you earlier, in the Gospels, Jesus is recorded as saying, "Do you think I came to bring peace on the earth? No, I tell you, no. I came not to bring peace, but a sword." So I think this is a sword that he's talking about, because in Isaiah and all the prophecies about Jesus, he's the Prince of Peace. He does bring peace when when the angels shouted to the shepherds, they said, "Peace on earth, goodwill towards mankind." Christ does bring peace, but at this particular time, it didn't bring peace, because it was a dividing between the Jews. Are they going to follow Christ, or are they going to follow the old traditional way and reject him? And I want to see if I can. I believe it's in Luke here. I'd have to look it up. I don't have it offhand. I didn't look it up, but when Jesus talks about that, he makes it clear that it was for that specific time, because when he's talking about that, he says he's talking about how he brings the sword, and he says, when you see the sky turn red at night, fair weather is going to be tomorrow. And he says, you discern the signs of the sky, but how come we cannot discern the times, meaning the times that were then, because they were in it. They couldn't tell the difference. So I believe the story he's talking about was opposition to the gospel right after then.
It's in Luke 12, I think.
Okay, that would make sense. Luke 12. Let me see. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay. Luke 12:49. It says, "I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it already be kindled? But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straitened until it be accomplished? Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, no, but rather division. From henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. The earth shall be divided against the father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law." And he said also to the people, "When ye see a cloud rise out of the west, straightway you say, There cometh a shower, and so it is. And when ye see the south wind blow, you say, There will be heat, and it cometh to pass. You hypocrites, you can discern the face of the sky and of the earth, but how is it that you do not discern this time?" So this the time that Jesus is talking about is not that he's bringing a sword or division throughout the church age, but for that specific time. And he's quoting from actually the end of Micah. Um, Micah 7:5, it says, "Trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a guide, keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. For the son dishonoureth the father, the daughter riseth up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law, and a man's enemies are the men of his own house. Therefore I will look unto the Lord, I will wait for the God of my salvation, my God will hear me. Rejoice not against me, O mine enemy. When I fall I shall arise, when I sit in darkness the Lord shall be a light to me." So Jesus is quoting from that. So that's what I believe it was. It is at that time it was a great dividing time between the Jews. Would they follow Christ or would they follow the Pharisees, which eventually were destroyed. By the way, I forgot to mention in verse 2 was talking about Christ riding on a white horse. In Habakkuk, it uses imagery from all over the New Testament that we normally that most of Christianity today would attribute to the second coming of Christ, but it describes it as far as God coming in judgment. Let me see if I can find it here. Habakkuk. Jonah, Micah, Nahum, Habakkuk. Here we go. This is a prophecy. Habakkuk 3, starting at verse 3, it says, "God came from Teman, and the Holy One from Mount Paran, Selah." Okay, so it talks about God coming. "His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise." Matthew 24 talks about his glory, or the light shining from heaven to heaven. And verse 4, "His brightness was as the light, whom the Lord will destroy with the brightness of his coming." 2 Thessalonians 2:8. And the light, Matthew 24:27. "In his horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Before him went the pestilence, and the burning coals went forth at his feet. He stood and measured the earth, and he beheld, and drove asunder the nations." Revelation 19:15. Verse 9, in Habakkuk 3, it says, "Thy bow was made quite naked." So the image of the bow is also found there. In verse 11, "The sun and moon stood still in the habitation." Matthew 24:29, the sun and the moon.